Summarizing what I've learned in 18 months, I've come to believe that we are in the midst of the worst public health scandal in our history. And I wish I could, but I don't see an end in sight.
My son, Everest, is 17 years old. On April 21st, Everest got the Pfizer vaccine. Everest was in a terrible state. He could not lift his head or move it or his neck without the assistance of his hands. There were blood clots in his brain. He actually had cerebral venous sinus thrombosis on both sides of his brain, as well as an internal jugular vein thrombosis.
I raised my son since the day he was born. He was by my side all the time. I took him to get the Pfizer vaccine. My buddy called me, told me something was wrong with Junior. All they could tell me was, he's dead. That's it.
Second Pfizer shot. Within 2 days, she started having seizures again. She's gone from having tics, looked like she has Tourette's, Bell's palsy, like her face would literally, I have a picture where her face is like down an inch on one side. She's been wheelchair bound, and then all of a sudden she was paralyzed.
Within a matter of days, I was experiencing tremors in all 4 of my limbs, and over the past 9 months, I've experienced a range of neurological symptoms besides the tremors, such as flaccidity, where things just go limp and I can't control them at all, can't support my head or my arms or my legs or my torso.
Juliana was an active 18-year-old full-time college student. Then we watched as her life was flipped upside down. 2 weeks after receiving her second dose of the Pfizer vaccine, she woke up paralyzed from the waist down. The night before, she had been experiencing uncontrollable tremors for over 30 minutes. We had no idea these types of side effects were even possible.
Riley is my 8-year-old daughter, was vaccine injured this year. During that process, it started with a psychosis episode and blackouts and fainting. It progressed on further to her losing ability to feel her limbs. She had ringing in her ears, her fingers were tingly, her veins, she would feel tingling in them.
And over 9 months since she got her second dose. She can't walk. She's in a wheelchair. She has an NG tube for all of her nutrition. She has constant pain in her stomach, back, and neck. She can't feel her legs, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
My son did what was asked of him. He got the vaccine to play hockey. And now my boy is gone. Continue to play hockey, he had to get the vaccine. He got a Pfizer vaccine on August 25th. On August 29th, he went to the hospital with a bad reaction. And on September 27th, in the morning, he was found dead on the floor beside his bed. He was a very beautiful boy that I loved dearly, and he was my life.
So I took the Pfizer vaccine, the first dose, on July 2nd, and I already kind of started feeling effects the next day on the 3rd, when I woke up on Saturday morning. Diagnosed me with pericarditis.
And then after the second shot, I mean, I was afraid that within probably 2 days after the shot, I was gonna have a heart attack. You know, the heart pain was worse than anything I could possibly imagine. Heart was so inflamed, but I know that there's a lot of people around me and around the country that are dealing with the same problems that I have.
You said you had friends in your high school graduating class that were seniors with you, and they also had some severe consequences.
Yes, and there's a lot of them are still dealing with it, like worse than I am. Way worse than I am right now.
This is my son Milo. He got the COVID vaccine on December 10th. Doctors kind of pressured me into it. First dose, the Pfizer, and then by Sunday morning, he was intubated and on life support. In the hospital, he ended up having myocarditis. He had full body swelling from his head to his toe. He was dealing with blood clots. Like I said, 6 weeks on life support. He now has a trach and has a vent.
These kids, with all these side effects, why isn't something being done?
He had the first shot on August 19. My doctor said that I suffer an acute pericarditis.
My name is Kyle Warner. I'm a 29-year-old professional mountain bike racer and 3-time national champion. In June, I joined the rapidly growing number of young men who develop pericarditis post-mRNA vaccine. That condition, along with POTS and reactive arthritis, have completely brought an end to life as I knew it. I have been bedridden, unable to work, and unable to exercise for months. I fear that my career has officially been ended.
I was vaccine injured last year. I've had GI issues where I've had to have a feeding tube at one point. I've had urinary issues where I had a catheter implanted in my stomach. I've had blood clots, infections, neurological issues that have caused weakness, difficulty walking.
My last appointment, follow-up with my neurologist, and he actually put into my medical record that my CIDP was caused by the COVID vaccine.
Hey, I am an unemployed paraplegic who's learning an entire new lifestyle. Only thing I did between full health and my current condition is take a shot.
I was losing my motor skills quite rapidly. In severe pain, biological pain is extremely different. It's like this electric buzzing that shoots down my spine to my feet and my hands.
I had this tingling sensation that literally went from my toes up to the top of my head.
I have become unable to walk without a walker and never know if or when the tremors will come or go. I can no longer cook, clean, or even pick up and hold my baby for too long before my body begins to shake uncontrollably or is thrown into excruciating amounts of pain.
Right leg has extreme burning pain, and I also get muscle spasms and twitches, and I have internal vibrations.
Months of agony. I would have nerve pain all through here in my clavicle, like something was, like an ice pick was just stabbing you like every 3 seconds.
I'm an orthopedic surgeon from Mequon, Wisconsin. I average over 5,000 patient visits per year. On December 30th of 2020, I received the first Moderna COVID vaccine. I also began having powerful electrical shock sensations down my entire spine, radiating to my feet. I soon saw a neurologist who diagnosed me with transverse myelitis. In my career of 19 years, that I took almost 14 years to train for, is likely over.
Tachycardia, wild fluctuating blood pressures, severe right-sided headaches and brain fog. By August, I literally exploded in generalized body neuropathies. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, stinging in my hands and feet, burning in the soles of my feet, prickling all over like I fell in a bush of nettles.
Week of health and fitness, having just completed a half Ironman. All of that changed after my second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Heart inflammation, mast cell issues, radically varying blood pressures, tachycardia, gray skin tone, purple hands and feet, neuropathy.
She stood up and one of the first things she said was, "This is destroying our troops. This is destroying our military. This is destroying our families. This is destroying us."
These past 5 months, my severe neurological reactions continue to plague me.
It's not fair. We're just people who are hurt, you know? We're just hurt. And we just want help. We're not asking for anything else. We just want help and to be heard and make things aware for others so this doesn't happen to anyone else. I don't want this happening to anyone else.
I want our neurological injuries to be recognized and acknowledged by the CDC and the FDA.
I've had conversations with the head of the FDA several times, and they're not interested in hearing what has happened to us.
If you're injured, even in clinical trials, or you're injured after a vaccine, the lack of resources is astounding. It was a shocking, eye-opening thing for me. There are no resources. And in this case, even going to the manufacturers, it was closed doors. I couldn't get help from Pfizer, nothing.
You can't find help. Kind of makes you feel hopeless.
One word describes how I felt: abandoned.
I just think that the way it's run right now is a complete shame, and even young kids like me can see it, which is just absolutely shocking. So,
as an MD, it took me a long time to accept the reality of the depth and the breadth of the censorship.
To say, hey, this is happened to me. This has happened to me. There's got to be a point where the doctors or the government turn around and say, okay, we have to address this problem.
That people stepped up to do their duty to support public health and then have been continued to be abandoned at every level is absolutely unconscionable.
Want to push us away like we're nothing, like this isn't happening. It's time to wake up. It's time to realize this is happening.
Have literally asked and we have begged repeatedly for them to acknowledge these reactions. They declined. I would like to finish with a letter from a friend. Bree, please tell our stories. Please make sure the world knows the cruelty that has been imposed upon us. Goodbye, my dear friend. I will see you on the flip side. Rochelle Walensky, Janet Woodcock, Peter Marks, Anthony Fauci. You erased her, and the many others like her. Their blood is on your hands. You cannot bring my friends back, but you can save others from their fate if you finally just tell the truth.